Okay, this is Dietemann v. Time, and perhaps we can get through this in one movie. Let's see. So, on the first slide, here's a quote from the decision. I think yeah, this is what I quoted you in Invasion of Privacy. I'm going to say it again. The First Amendment has never been construed to accord newsmen immunity from torts or crimes committed during the course of news gathering. The First Amendment is not a license to trespass, to steal, or to intrude by electronic means into the precincts of another's home or office. Dietemann v. Time was from 1971, so we're talking almost 50 years ago. But it's a very interesting case, and I think you'll understand what's going on here. Facts of the case. This is a case of invasion of privacy. Life magazine was conducting an investigation on alleged quacks, or doctors who are really not doctors, they're quacks, quack doctors. That is, people who were illegally practicing medicine. The journalist would come to the doctor's offices on the pretense of being patients. They were equipped with hidden audio and camera equipment with the intent of recording evidence that showed the doctors were, in fact, not licensed physicians. Then they would write articles about it. Dietemann was one of these doctors who practiced medicine in the den of his home. An undercover patient went into his home and was hooked up with audio that was being transmitted to a police car outside the home. This foiled Dietemann's home-based practice, and he was exposed as a fraud. Everything was done with the full knowledge by and agreement with the LA District Attorney. So you can see here the reporters thought that they were doing just fine because the district attorney said it was okay. So you really need to be very, very sure. I guess get a couple of attorneys involved if you're going to do anything undercover. Basically, doing things undercover is just not a safe adventure for you. So here's the article. This is slide 6. You can see this is a photo of Dr. Dietemann sitting at his desk with his hand on a woman's breast, doing whatever he says he needs to do to diagnose the problem. Question to be considered, do people have a right to an expected place of solitude where no one will unlawfully invade their space for purposes of gathering information or other material against their will or without their knowledge? Did time invade Dietemann's space? Let me see if I can read this caption. Dietemann, arrested by investigator Grant Leake, holds a pair of turtles, which he studies, quote, because they are vegetarians and so are a good many of my patients. Below in his office, he rubs Mrs. Metcalf with his left hand while waving his magic wand with his right hand over an array of bottles that contain body tissues. Sounds pretty weird and unconventional to me, and just look at him. I don't know. I think I would turn and go the other way if I went into a doctor's office and he was wearing that shirt. Okay, but that's me. That may not scare you away, but his face would scare me away too. Anyway, there was a case that I thought of, or a situation that I thought of. I'll think of it again. Well, no one will unlawfully invade their space for purposes of gathering information. Okay, we'll move on. So he sued them. He sued Time because he believed that his privacy had been invaded. You know, he has an office and it's in his home. And as we said, even an office in a home has privacy. Dietemann won the case on electronic intrusion and was awarded $1,000. His den was an expected place of solitude. The court was careful to distinguish between intrusion and publication. Publication was in line with traditional explanations of intrusion, but the actual physical intrusion was not. Publication can significantly enhance damages. The importance of the case ruling, the Dietemann decision modified the concept of freedom of press in two ways. Number one, the First Amendment gives the media no right to break the law with impunity, even if legitimate news is being pursued. So you can find your purpose to be extremely noble in helping the public. You might remember the grocery store where the food was not being handled properly, and some of you thought about going in and becoming an employee, or just kind of sneaking in and taking movies. You have to be very, very careful. A grocery store, even though the public is allowed in, is a private entity. It's a private business. So reporters are not protected by the First Amendment when they commit crimes or torts. So you go into this doctor's office in his home, and what is the crime that you're committing? You're committing intrusion upon seclusion, all right? But they didn't find that. They found that the electronic intrusion was the crime. So anyway, that's an important case. So you might want to go over that a couple of times. Okay.